you can learn the things from anywhere, from me, from YouTube, from other person who is good in this Python programming. But until unless you are not going to practice by yourself, you will not learn. Okay, so this is very 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 important, that you should go and practice the things which I'm teaching every day. Okay, so that will be useful for you. Okay, so if you want to take most out from this workshop, do practice. Otherwise nobody can help you, right? So if you're see, let me tell you very frankly, if you're going to just watch what I'm teaching, you will forget it after a month or so. Okay, so it is good to get your hands dirty, it's good to practice everything. Perfect, so let's get started. Let's learn something really new today, and it will be your next step to this particular Python journey. Okay, so with this what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Let me just, yeah, it's day 2 of Python workshop, and very soon, yep, it is here, and here I go. Yes, so are you able to see my screen? Yeah, give me yes into the chat box. Perfect, perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sam is here, Prachwal, Anurag, Ritik, Vinay. Okay. The reason I'm reading name, I'm getting familiar with you because I don't know, all of you are from very different sources, right? So I don't know from where you came, and I just got to know that we are having different people yesterday with the pool, right? So so we have all the records in the registration list, but I personally haven't went there and checked. One of the person from my team is managing it. Okay, so but before starting ahead, I would like to congratulate all the people who posted on LinkedIn. I went there, I searched for the hashtag Python Workshop 2020. I found a couple of posts, but there is one thing which I want all of you to take into the to use this thing or take into the consideration, that you just don't go and post. See, a couple of people I saw, they just posted the hashtags. Okay, that was not the meaning of posting on LinkedIn. You should go there and you should write what you learned or what you're doing, so that when HR or other people from the company, they will see your post, they will get to know that this person is skilled in Python or he knows Python. Okay, so that impression I want you to give to the person who is reading your post. Just posting hashtags, it is not enough. Okay, right, that I started learning. I'm utilizing my time because I'm having a lot of free time, and I'm learning this thing, and today I learned this thing which I didn't knew before, and I'm going to learn for next 5 days, and it is going to help me to amplify my skills. So I'm just giving the idea how you should write. Okay, so don't just use the hashtag because I told you, don't do it. Okay, so if you're doing it for me, don't do it. See how it is going to help you. Okay, yeah, so with this, let's go and start today's session, where I'm going to show you these things. Okay, so today we are going to learn how you can take input from string, input from user. We are going to learn a few string formatting methods, the built-in string methods as well. And then we are going to have a mini project, which is email slicer. And we are going to learn what all data types are there in Python, and then operators. And then I'm also going to show you how the operator precedence is maintained. How which operator, whenever you are going to get list of the operators in an expression, which operator will take precedence than the other. Okay, so that is what we are going to learn today. And then as usual, I'm going to give you a task of that email slicer will be your task actually for today, and some of the things on operator. Okay, and then we'll have our most favorite quiz. Is that okay? Have everybody got the agenda, what we're going to do today? Yep. Give me yes. Keep interacting so that you will get understand. So I'll get to know that you are with me. Okay, so that's the thing. And those people joining late, guys, please don't. From tomorrow at 6:05, I'm going to lock the meeting, and nobody after that will be able to enter into the room. Okay, so make sure that you're on here on time. It's not your class. It's not your college lecture. I don't like such people who don't respect time. Okay, yeah, fine, perfect. So with this, let's just go and check how you can take input from user. Yesterday we just learned how to give, how to write variables, how to give comments, and the way string and all those stuff. But today we are going to move forward, and we are going to take input from string, right? Input from user, and then we are going to do some string formatting. We are going to use some string formatting methods. Okay. So in Python, user input will always be in the form of string. Okay. So whatever. So I have 6:15. Okay, Rashna. Thank you. Thanks for informing. So yeah. So what I'll do is I'll allow everybody because of you to come at 6:15, but after 6:16 nobody will be able to join. Okay, so sorry for that, I can do that. Let's see. So Rashna, persistent system, fine, good to see you're actually managing time, and actually after this session you are attending this. I appreciate it. Fine, I would love to do something for you, don't worry. Okay, I'll make sure that you will not miss anything from this session as well. Okay, so whatever input you are going to get from the user will be always in the form of string. Okay, even though a user is going to enter number over there, you will always get that number in the form of string. Okay, keep this thing in mind. So this is the way, if you want to ask user for the input. Let me just quickly show you. Okay, so this is the new file. This is day 2. I just created new file by right clicking new and Python, and I just created file. Let me just go. Nothing is there. It's empty file. What I wanted to do is I want to ask user to put the values. Okay, I want to stop this terminal. Let me just show you. Okay, suppose again, okay, my favorite variable, I'm going to use it every now and then, just don't. Okay, so this is Akshay. Okay, so now if I print this thing out there, okay, print A. Okay, just everybody focus over here. Okay, so again, if you're not going to focusing here, you will not able to answer the questions at the time of quiz. Okay, so I'm running this thing. See, after running this, value of A got printed over here, and then there is a line. Okay, process finished with exit code 0. Okay, it means your code has executed and it has came out from the execution, and now you can execute another code. Okay, so that's what it signifies. Exit code 0 means code executed successfully. There are no errors. Okay, now what I want is, right now I'm telling you how you can take input from user. Okay, so what is the syntax of taking input is just an input function. This is the inbuilt function. Suppose I want to take the name of the person. Name is equal to input, and inside that this will hold the string. Okay, let me just show you. Okay, I'm just saving it, and let me just print this name over here, because we are not going to use that A variable today. We are going to use something else. Okay, so I'm running this thing. See, I run the program, and here the cursor is waiting over here. Now you are not seeing that exit code 0, right? So now if I enter over here Akshay, see, it is in a different color. Now you are able to enter the input. You are able to give the input in the console. If I hit enter, see, it is coming down and it is printing that thing. But now so you will not be able to understand what to do, why cursor has stopped over there. So and right now, so imagine that you are building a program to sell actually. So end customer who is going to use your program, he should know what to do, right? So cursor stopped there. It means we need to tell user that you need to perform some action. Either you want to give your name, your age, your college name, what else. Okay, so that we need to specify. So how to do that? Just give a double quotes over here and type whatever you want to show the message to the user. Okay, so what I want is this, since this is name, enter your name. Okay, so this is the message which I'm giving very nicely over here. I'm running this program again. Here I go. Now see this particular message which I passed as a parameter to this function. Okay, so I'll tell you functions and all when we'll go to the function topic. But right now try to understand, input is the inbuilt function from the Python module or Python programming, which will help us to take input from user. Okay, and whatever parameter we are going to pass, it will print on the screen and it will hold the screen over there because of this input function. Now here is my cursor waiting for the user input. Again, I'm going to put my name over here. See, it is in the different color because it's user input, and this is the string printed by the program. Okay, so if I hit enter, so it is coming on the next line, print name Akshay. So this is just a normal code. Now suppose have you understood this thing? It is very easy actually, so no need to worry about it. Yes, give me yes if you understood it really quick. Yeah, so this is very basic. Okay, so those who are really new, just for them I'm just going slow because I don't want to waste my time over here, because we have a lot of things to cover. Okay, perfect, good. Now what I'm going to do is, if I want age, okay, suppose I want age. Now as I told you, input function, this is the function which will always take input in the form of string. Okay, so let me just show you. Okay, so enter your age, and here we go. And if I print it over here, okay, print age. Okay, so by printing it will directly print the value. What I wanted to show you, I'm just going to show you type of. Okay, just a minute. Type of age. Okay, so it will print the what type of value it is. Okay, so I'm just going to print the type over there. Here I go. I'm just running the code again and enter your name. I'm entering my name Akshay. I'm entering, see, name as printed now. Since there is another input box, input function, it has also asking me again, enter your age. My age is 25. Here I go. And now the class, okay, type function will tell you what type of data this variable is containing. Okay, so it is containing string type of data. Okay, string. Okay, so now since it is a string, now let me just show you again. Okay, so just to tell you how integer will look like. Okay, suppose if I would have asked, so whenever you're going to get input, it will be always in the form of string. That is what we are saying over here. But suppose we have b variable over here, and where we assigned value as 10. Okay, and if now I do this type of b, then it will show me that it is a string. Okay, so this is a b. I'm just showing you again, and here I go. I'm running the program. Okay, it is going to ask me again, sorry. Then age is 25. Here I go. Now see, this age is 25. I'm typing over here. This is the type of age. The age variable is coming from the input, so since that's why it is string. But now here I assign integer to this b variable, so the type of b is integer. Okay, so whenever in programming, so we need age in a number, right? So so let me just give you a broader view. Whenever you're going to build a full stack program or end-to-end program with Python programming, so a web application kind of thing, so that time you need to store age in the form of number into the database, right? So in that case you need to change the type. Okay, you just need to change the type of data, or you just need to convert this input which is coming from the user to integer. Okay, so how to do that? So I'm just removing this thing now because we don't need it. How to do that? So here is the thing. Okay, so what you can do is you can just simply typecast it. Okay, you can just change the type of the data which is coming in. You can add int, so whatever number coming in, so you're just converting that string into a number. Okay, so this is how, while doing it, yeah, I can whenever we are going to get the value, I can assign it to another variable. B is equal to int of, means I'm just extracting integer out. Okay, so we can do like this as well. Here is the b and here is the b, so it will give the same value actually. So I'm running the program. Array, it is asking me again for the input, and here is my age. Here we go. Now since I converted, I grabbed that, I just converted this string into the integer, so we are getting a b as an integer. When I'm printing the type of b, so it is coming as int. Okay, so you can see over here it is int. But now, so why you are creating a new variable? Instead of that, what you can do is simply, so this is a good practice to put int directly while taking the input. Okay, so even though you gave text over there, like it is asking age, and by mistake you provided text, it will throw the error upfront. Okay, so it will be easy for user as well to understand that I'm supposed to provide integer value over here. Clear? Yep. I'm just showing you by running the program again. Here I go. Enter age. I'm entering 20 and class of age. Okay, I'm just, yeah. So now the age class of age is integer because we already typecast it over here. Okay, clear? Sir, in default it will take only as a string. Yes, but by default the input which is coming from the user will be always in the form of string, not int. Okay, so if you want to give float and all, you need to typecast it. You need to, what do I mean by typecast? Converting one data type into another. Okay, this particular is giving me string, I'm converting that string into an integer, right? So that's how typecasting works. Clear? Have you understood how you can take input from the user in this particular Python programming language? So it is really very system. In Java, if you are aware, So you need to do like a lot of things, right? Scanner and all those things. So I just hate that stuff. So that's why I love Python actually. So you just need to write this function and you will be able to get the input from user. So this is really cool. Okay, so this is all about input. Now let's move towards the next topic. Okay, so the next thing is, now we are getting the input. Now let's assign the input in a right way. Okay, so these are three different methods of string formatting. What do I mean by formatting? Let's look at the first example. Okay, so I'm entering the name as Akshay, age as 25, and I want you to print in the next line, like once you submitted the data, so you're going to print it on the next line that Akshay is 25 years old. So it is a whole string. But when other person, the different person will enter, like suppose John, and value of name will be John, and age will be 23. In that case, the string should get printed like John is 23 years old. Okay, so at the runtime, data will change every time according to different users. But yeah, scanning it is from Java, not yeah. So if you want to change the statement or the message according to the input that you are getting, so you need to use string formatting. Okay, so I'll be just demonstrating you a couple of things from this and this. Actually, this percentage is old Python 2 and that version people were using this. So those who are from programming background, they might be able to understand. This is from C, right? So where we used to give percentage S for string and percentage D for numbers and integer. D is for digit. Okay, and that's how we were assigning the values. Okay, but this is something which we are not going to do. I'm not going to show you because it is not in use, and using it is not recommended actually. Okay, so string.format is again the different type of string formatting, but it is not as fast as string. So the people who are really crazy about AI and all, and machine learning all, so for them you will be working with string for a lot of times, and they people will be using f string. Okay, so it is much faster than string formatting. So we'll be seeing the examples of second and third. Okay, so if you want, you can practice it. It is not kind of a big thing. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to use these two different types of formatting. Okay, str.format and f string. Okay, the other way of, sir, can we get this PPT file after the class of reference? Srinidhi, you are having whole video with you. Okay, whole video with you means I don't think sharing again PPT will help you. So I'm explaining whole video is with you. So you are asking the small part of that video. So you can again anytime go back and you can watch, right? Yeah, perfect. Now let's come and see the examples. Okay, so that's why I love. Okay, so just explaining is like, okay, I understood. But when you are going to do it by yourself, oh, this is how it works. So that's how it will go in your permanent memory, and you will be able to recall it even after 1 year or so. Okay, so that's why I mostly focus on practical based sessions, not the kind of theoretical one. Okay, let's move forward. What I want is, I'm not going to print name directly over here. Let me just print for time being. Here we go. Now at the end, what I wanted to do is, I wanted to give a very nice message. So it will be my MSG variable. Okay, in that message I'm going to store the value of give me your name, or input the enter the my name is, or Akshay is 25 years old, like that. Okay, so what message should be like? So let me just put it in double quotes. Akshay is 20 years old, not 20 actually. Yeah, so but here whenever user is going to enter a different name, I'm going to get a different name over here, and age will also change. Okay, so I want these two fields to come dynamically. I don't want to limit myself over here with the hard-coded value. I don't want hard-coded value. So in order to do that, what you can do is, there are two ways. Okay, first we are going to see this one. Okay, and the second, then I'm going to show you f string as well. Okay, so here I know that name is going to come, so I'm just giving a formatting. I'm just doing a formatting that something will replace this curly braces. Okay, and same as here as well. Okay, something will replace this. Okay, it came twice. Now after string, see, try to understand, after double quotes the function is going to apply. Okay, so our single quote, double quote, both are same. I already told you, right? So here in example I gave, I took at a single quote, so it will work with double quote as well. Okay, so then you have to use this function, string formatting function dot format. Okay, so what is the use of this ID? See, this ID is suggesting me, okay, which will not get this will not get you in any other ID which you are using. Okay, this is the highly recommended ID for working with Python. Okay, so Python developing web application or Python applications. Okay, so for that, not for AI and all. Okay, so here we need to do formatting, but what do I need? I'm supposed to pass. I'm supposed to pass the two variables. Okay, so what is the name coming over here? It will take the first place, and the age coming over here, it will take the second place. Let me just show you. Okay, so here is the name comma age. Okay, this is how you need to pass, and once it is assigned to this, the message variable will change. Okay, message variable will change, and I'm going to print this message down there so that we'll see what change happened into the message variable. Okay, so here I go, I'm running it again. Name is Akshay. Sorry, I'm taking my name every time because I just love it. Yeah, here we go. Age is 25, and you can see Akshay is 25 years old. When the code printed the last line, it is showing me the finish with exit code. Okay, I'm running it again. Okay, see the same code. I'm running it again. Let me just take the name of the person who is in the last. Okay, we have Srinidhi. Okay, so we have Srinidhi, and here we go. I'm just taking her age 22, and here we go. So see the message which was there previously, it was coming according to the details provided. Right now it has changed according to the next details we are provided. Okay, so it is just to print the dynamic text on the screen. Okay, so have you logged in into Amazon.com? Anybody? Have you logged in into Amazon.com? Sorry, Srini. Sorry, Srinidhi. So D is like. Sorry for that. Sorry, Srinidhi. Fine. So in Amazon.com, whenever you are going to log in, it will show your name. Whenever you are going to log in with different credentials, that Amazon will show that person's name, right? So same way they are using some dynamic binding. Okay. So according to your name, they will have the data and they will print the same string. Hello Akshay, good afternoon, or good afternoon Akshay, like that. So you may say some different thing, like okay. So Prajwal will see good afternoon Prajwal, right? The time when we are going to log in into that. So that's how they're they are printing the dynamic strings. Okay, so just yeah, so I'll give you a task at the end. So what you need to do is you need to find out how many people are using Python in their application. So you need to find the famous applications, like you just go, this is a task for you, take a note of this. I just want everybody will come up with two things and we'll put it on our WhatsApp group. I want two companies who are using, or two products or websites who are using Python in their tech stack. Okay, either with Django or just normal to process the data. Okay, not right now. I know I have a list of those. Not right now. Okay, so I need two things, two applications actually. Okay, so is it clear how you can get dynamic string from the users? Clear? Give me yes into the chat. Perfect. So this is with one string formatting. This is the one way of formatting string. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the same thing. Okay, I'm going to create a same variable again. Sorry, I'm going to create a different variable, msg1, just to help you understand with this particular concept of f string. Okay, so now f string is not saying like that we put the everything in after. So the string dot formatting, what we are doing is, after writing whole string, we are putting dot and we are applying function. But what this f string suggests, put f first and then write what you want. Okay, and you don't need to worry about what is a sequence. Okay, now here I also missed telling you the thing. Now see, let me just remove it for time being. Now see, the name is first at the first place, so that's why it has took the first place. Okay, if age is at this place, that's why it has taken the second place. Okay, so just imagine if I reshuffle this thing by mistake, or if I don't know how it is going to print. Okay, so in that case, if I run the program, okay, run input, and let me just take, we have Jayati. Yeah, so I'm just taking the age as 22, and here we go. See, 22 is Jayati years old, right? So it has changed the whole meaning because we did a small mistake that we haven't specified the input, the user input in a sequence. So in that case, if you don't know what the sequence we have written over here, what you can do is simply, okay, so the first object, this you want on the second place, right? So here, so it is like index, it is at 0th place, it is at first place. Okay, so here you want the element or the variable which is at first place, or the first index of the list, and here you're going to put 0 because here you want, so this will be name, right? So 0 and 1. So age will come over as age is having 0th index, and name will come over here as name is having first index. Okay, I'm running again, and I'm going to take the same name, Jayati, and just to show you. Okay, so here we go again, taking 22. Yeah, now we are getting the right name. Okay, but now how you, so it is very complicated, by the way. If your list is starting increasing, like you have address, like you have college name, then you have branch and all XYZ things. So in that case, it will be quite tough. Okay, it will be quite tough to maintain the records. So for that, what I would recommend to use, and everybody is using right now in the industry, this F string method, because it is really powerful and it is really useful. Okay, so what it says that put F first, give your string either single quote or double quote after that, and in that, instead of, see, you need to use this curly braces. Okay, by the way, you need to use this, sorry, not this one, curly braces, but inside that curly braces, don't put numbers, put directly variables. So now you know name I want at the first place, a string name is, and here is the second string, this will be age, years old. Okay, just try to understand how the syntax is. Okay, so F string, so it directly I have written in the print statement, but I'm right now while showing you, I'm assigning into the variable and then I'm printing it, so that you will be able to understand, or you will be able to use it later on. Okay, so this is how, and no need to give semicolon. Okay, so I just remember to, because I was doing some other programming right before this class. Okay, print, here we go, I'm printing the message 1. Yeah, and I'm running the code. Here we go. Let me take some other name with their second last. We have Himanshu. Yeah, so again, I'm putting the same age. I don't know your age. Yeah, Himanshu is 22 years old, because yeah, here we have provided the right numbers of the parameters that we are passing. But here you don't need to worry about at all. Okay, so because we are directly putting the name, okay, or the variable name directly, so it will be taken care of, because you are going to create the variable name according to the input that you are getting. Okay, so is it clear? F string and for dot format function. Yes. Now what I want is all of you, if you're doing along with me, that's good. If you're not, please go and after this session do practice these things, because it will be very difficult to understand the difference between these two things, and where to give the variable name and where to give the numbers. It's quite confusing. Okay, so practice is must. Okay, until unless you're not going to practice, you'll not be able to master this programming language. Okay, and if you're learning something, try to master it every time. Okay, so don't do it casually. If you're doing something, do it best, so that nobody can beat you in this particular thing, whatever it may be. It may be programming, or it may be anything that you do in your daily life. Okay, just kind suggestion from my side. Okay, so since we are coming to that point, so just tell me how many of you are here. We have 49 people over here, almost 50. So how many of you are really serious about having a good career in the IT world? Okay, so I have a couple of people over here in the mechanical background actually. So I'm just launching a poll actually, guys. Just put it over there. Okay, so the poll is there. Just click the correct answer. If you're serious about getting good job in IT, put it there. If you are from mechanical industry and if you don't want to get into IT actually, so then in that case you can click the respective option. I'm from healthcare. Yeah. That's why I said Jayati. Yeah, so I know there are a couple of people who are from different background. They're not from IT sector, but Python will definitely help you in your future endeavors where we go. Okay, we have 42 answers still now. Okay, almost 90% I can see people are there. Yeah, we have a couple of people over here who don't want to participate in the vote. I don't know why. Okay, I'm from IT. Good. So click the respective options. Yeah, perfect. So see, now I don't know who is the Sam. I would request Sam to give your full name, so I'll not mistake him. Okay. So fine. We have enough votes. I'm just ending the polls, and you can see on your screen. Okay. So we have 91% people, almost 41 people who want to make good career in IT. So for all of you, it's humble request that keep practicing these things, because it is going to help you in interviews. I'm going to give you some important things that interviewer may ask you. Okay, and that will help you a lot. Okay, fine. So that's the reason why I'm asking it. Okay, so do practice. That's it. That's the end of the this discussion. Fine. So let's move towards the next point. What we have to do is, I guess you're clear about this. Okay, I have done BSc in computer science. Good. So you can go anytime, Srinidhi. Okay, so then we have a couple of functions which are inbuilt function in string. That string you can have multiple functions, you can use them and you can play around them. Okay, so I'm just going to create a new file because let's not complicate everything. Okay, so file string functions. Okay, so these are some inbuilt function that we are having in string. So I'm just going to demonstrate a few. Okay, so if you have a string like again my favorite variable a and my favorite name, take amplifiers this time. Actually, Akshay is my favorite text actually. Everybody is having the same thing, right? Yeah, so take amplifiers is my normal string. What I want to do is I want to count the number of characters are there in the string, right? So what I can do is a dot count. See, count will give us the value, and right now I'm not going to assign it to another variable. I'm just going to print it. Okay. So if I print, it will give me the number of variables. So whenever you or somebody will ask, can count the number of variables? Sorry, not like this. Count of a or that. Sorry, I'm different. Yeah, count of a. Yeah, so like this. No, sorry. Uh, count with 0. I'm running the code. Must be string or not int. Count of string. What happened? Yes. Length of a dot count of a. Okay, fine. Here I go. Okay. Yeah, so I'm getting, but it has gave me only one thing. Okay, so fine. So count variable you can just use to count the strings. Okay, then we have upper. So what upper will do? Upper will make it all uppercase. Okay, let me just show you. Okay, so if I do a dot upper, yeah, so upper will make it this. Take amplifiers. See, this is a camel case, right? E, then small e, and like that. Okay, so what it will do is count is used to count a particular character in the string. Yeah, frequency of that character. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so here I go, I'm running the code. So see, the upper function has made this string take amplifiers caps. Okay, all caps. So same case with lower, you can do like this, lower, and so it will do the whole string in lowercase. There are a couple of more, so I'm not going to take this. Capitalize will make it capitalize. Title will actually make it like title, first letter capital and all small, second letter next words first letter capital, and then sorry, so capitalize will make every letter every words first letter capital, and title will make only first words first letter capital. Okay, so you just go and try these methods. Okay, so just for since I got this thing, so if I wanted to count how many times e is over here, okay, so e is one time and e is two times over here. So here, okay, so count is going to help you to count the occurrence of a variable, occurrence of a letter in the string. Okay, so sorry, a is not there in the string, that's why it is showing this thing. I'm just going with e, and see e is present twice in the string, and that is how we are able to see the true. Okay, so then this is not it. We have a couple of more functions. We have boolean functions which will tell us that which will whenever you want to check whether it is whole text is in a lowercase, then you can use is lower. Okay, dot is lower. Let me just give you. Okay, so it is not in lowercase, so let me make it lowercase. Okay, a. Now a dot is lower. Yeah, here we go. Is a dot is lower. It will return either true or false. Okay, is upper means it is checking is the string provided string is in uppercase. Okay, so that is what it is checking. If it, and right now I'm using lower function. So if I run this, it will give me true because it is in lowercase. If I make it capital, okay, if I make it capital, I'm running the code. Here I go, and it is showing me false because it is in capital. The whole string is not in a lowercase. So that's how it will work. Okay. Same with alpha. Alpha will check only alphabets are there. Same with is digit. If the string is containing only digit, it will show us that true. It will return the value as true. And alphanumeric is alnum is alphanumeric. It will check whether string is having alphabets and numbers as well. Okay. So this is about to check if string is of some particular type, whether it is uppercase, whether it is lowercase, whether it is only alphabets, whether it is only digit, whether it is combination of alpha, numeric, and digit. So when to use such things. So have you tried putting the password while logging into your Gmail account? Yes. How many of you know that if you type only characters, or I don't think with Gmail, but if you're going to log in with your exam sites and all, so they must be asking you to give one number, one caps, okay, then one digit, one special character, right? Validation says absolutely Anurag. So in that such cases, these type of functions will help. Okay. So whether the string is alphanumeric true, okay, then check next thing. Whether it is having a digit, okay, good. No, this each digit will not work there. There will be some other functions, but this type of functions will be useful over there. Okay. So let's move towards the next function, which is called, you just go and try these things. Okay. By the way, you need to find the position of the letter. Now, suppose I was able to count the letters, like E came twice. Okay. With count, I was able to count, but I wanted to find the index of this M or index of this F. Okay. So then how I can find where it is, what is the exact position? So there are two functions actually. Okay. So there is one function called as index of A and find of A. Okay. I'm going to show you both. Okay. So here I go. So it will be index of A, index of F, and I was taking that F, take amplifiers, and I'm running the code, run. So here it is giving me 0. Let me just count 0. So string is again, the index of string will start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, spaces 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yes, absolutely. It is on the 10th position. That's why it is giving me yes, a 10. Okay. And the same thing, find will also do the same thing. I'm just going to print over here, find rent A dot. See, these are some inbuilt functions which you need to know in order to proceed with next good things. Okay, A dot find, and I'm finding the F again. Okay, so I'm just running the code, and we'll get both 10 and 10 because index will find the exact index and find will find F. But why? What is the use of having two different functions doing the same thing? Yes. So it is because sometimes suppose you pass a string, like suppose T is there, A is there, B is not there. Okay, I'm passing B and I'm passing B over here. Okay, so right now I'm just going to comment this thing because I want to show the significance of both the things, both the different. If I run this thing, see B is not there, so index function will give you error that no substring found. But if I comment this and if I uncomment this, but this find function will not return error, it will return -1. Okay, that's the feature of this thing. If you want to make your project F index will be which number? If there is two F's, it will give you the first one. Okay, let's try with this. Okay, so if since he's curious about it, so let's try with I. We have two I's. Okay, so we have this I as well. So whenever it is going to find the first I, it will stop over there. Okay, so that's what will happen. Okay, so I'm running the code. Yeah. So B is not there, so that's why it printed -1. And since see, this is 9th. Okay, F was 10, right? F was 10. So first I is on the 9th index. So when this particular index function will find first I, it will stop over there. Okay. So there are different ways to find the position of all I present in this particular string. There are different ways. Okay. So right now, for time being, just try to understand how this index function is different than find. Okay. I hope you might have taken the note of this thing. Perfect. What if find index of a character from the end? Okay, I'll tell you. Hold on. We are going to go that point. We are going to go to that point. Wait a minute. Okay. So is it clear? Find index different between find and index? Yes, it will be covered. I mean, wait a minute. Yeah, perfect, right? So give me yes. I'm not able to understand whether you are understanding or not. If you are putting a negative sign, where because to find it. Yeah, I'll tell you, don't worry. So it is substring. Actually, that is a different thing altogether. I'll teach you. Okay. So here, so we just found the string now. Okay, now not this one actually. We are here in slides. Okay. So there is one more type of functions, one more set of functions which will help you to remove the letters. Okay. If you want to remove something, if you want to suppose remove A, okay, from my string. Okay, from my string. So let me just show you. So this is about find. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to remove from A dot, I wanted to strip this particular P. Okay, so I wanted to strip this P. So what it will do is it will remove that particular character from your string, and here I'm printing the string again, printing that A. Okay, so it will remove that P and then it will print a string. So it is just a strip function which will help us to remove the characters. No, sorry, something went wrong. So I just need to print it like this directly, right? Find out for searching character from the end of the string. Yeah, so that is the reverse string and all those things which I'm going to teach you. Wait a minute. Okay, so if you want to strip, so it will strip that particular string from your functions. Okay, so take amplifiers a dot strip. Suppose I want to strip space. Okay, if I give empty strip, okay, empty space, and see here take amplifiers is having the space. If I print over here, control copy, control P. Yeah, see, I'm just printing the string over here first, and then I'm giving a strip function, the basic strip function. So what this strip function will do, it will print this, it will remove the empty space, the extra space, white space that came, that it will remove. Okay, I'm just going to show you by running the code. See here, if I click over here, there is an extra space over here. See here, it is not there in this particular thing. So it has removed the extra space from there. I think we have to reassign the value in A. A is equal to strip of A, right? Yeah. Yes, absolutely right. Yep, perfect. So same way. So I'm printing A over here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip a variable called as, strip a letter called as P, and I'm again going to print the A, and let's see how it will work. Okay. See, in this case, no, that is not working actually. So A and strip P, and this is what it is. Okay, so here I go, I'm running it again, and take amplifiers. P is not going away, so it will not work like that. Yeah, and then print A. No, fine. So it will not work like this. So you just need to find out, I guess it should be in double quotes or strip something from, let's do the L strip. Okay, so L strip of AMP. Here we go. I'm running the code, and it is not working as expected. I don't know what happened, but remove letter strip of A dot strip of A, and okay, fine. So these functions are actually useful for removing particular element. So I'm not sure why what the problem happened over here, but it should work according to this thing. Okay, so actually there is one way. Strip yeah, so it will help you to remove the strings, and it will put the next string into the value. Okay, so it will return the actual string into the thing. Okay, so I'm just taking a big string back because it is okay. I'm just taking a big string for now. Okay, I'm just replacing this with the bigger one, not this one actually. Hold on a second. Okay, here we go, and we are going to replace it with the bigger string, and what we are going to do is we are going to print str.strip directly. Okay, and so I guess this strip function, I don't know why it is not showing the right way, but you just yeah, so I was just trying. Strip is used to remove the space at the beginning, and no, empty strip, I know about that empty strip, but the bigger strip with this with the, if you want to remove any extra character from the function, you can use the strip with a parameter. Actually, it also provides a parameter, and that parameter will help you to remove the specific character. Like here in example on screen, if you are able to see, suppose I don't want these zeros. Okay, I don't want these zeros in my string, I just want the simple example. Okay, so in that case in that case, I can use string dot strip and it will remove all the zeros, all the letters having this matching this particular parameter which I'm passing. So it should work in this way. No, yeah, it will work. Yeah, let me just show you. Okay, I'm running the string, and here we go. Yeah, so this is how it works. So if I print over here first A, I'm running the string. See, now this is the first print statement, okay, everyone. So this first print statement is printing the string. Now the second print statement where I use strip function. So this print statement is removing all the zeros from this particular string, okay. So then why it was not working with TeX amplifiers? TeX ampli. Okay, I guess it was not a straight away string. That's why. Yeah, so here we go. We are going to take this and we are going to remove A from our string. Okay, so strip.a. I'm running the code, and no, it is something which is not happening. A.strip, sorry, not A with character. Yeah. No, I don't know why with normal or small string or the string which is not having that particular. So it should have something like this. Okay. So the multiple character, it will not remove. Okay, the first and last actually. Yes, you're absolutely right. So it will not leading and ending. Yes, parameter should have leading and ending, right? Yeah. So what we'll do is not this coming back, and yeah. So if I try to remove S from here, okay, so it will work. So it will remove the last yes already. Yeah. So it will only remove last yes, and there is one more way to do else strip. Okay. So if you want to trim the left hand side of that particular character, okay, left hand side of that character, it will trim the all the string from the left. Suppose I put H over here, okay, else strip, then it will do it will remove. Now again, this is not something which is as per understanding. Fine. So else strip and R strip will again do the same sort of things, which will remove the. Okay, so it should be also on the left hand side, and it should be also on the right hand side. Suppose we have S over here, okay, and here we have S. So if I put like this L strip of yes, so it will remove S from only left hand side, okay, and it will remove S from only right hand side. See, now left hand side S is gone, but right hand side S is there. But if I use only S, only L strip, it will remove the S from both the sides, okay. Yeah, the both sides S. If you want to remove only S from right hand side, you will use right strip, R strip. And see, the first yes is there, and it will work like this. Okay, so clear. So L strip, R strip, and actually the strip function will help us to remove the starting and the ending, leading and the trailing characters from your string. Okay, not in between. I was doing wrong. Fine. So it was with the index because we were finding the middle of something. So it was because of that. Okay, fine. So is it clear? Yes, everybody who are really new to this thing. So we have a couple of people over here. We have Anurag, we have Mahi, and a couple of people who are really good with this thing. And thanks for helping me out. Okay. So after very long time, I'm coming with these strip functions actually. Yeah, fine. We will not be using this thing. Now with this next thing, which everybody was looking for, the backend. Okay. So somebody was asking about how to get the middle index or the middle element of the string, right? So what you can do is you can do slicing of the string. Okay, string is the iterable data type, and you can slice the string. Okay, what do I mean by slice? What do I mean by slice? So let me just remove this string from here. Okay, so this is done actually. Let's create a new variable b, and if I have something called as Akshay @TeX amplifiers, so which is the example which I want to take, amplifiers.com. okay, so this is my email ID. Okay, so from this I wanted to grab my company name. Okay, so whenever in industries, whenever a new client will come on board, he will not be asking his name, अरे आपके company का नाम क्या है? We'll ask for email, and from email we'll get the email, the company name, right? So that's how we onboard customers in industry. So I'm just giving the example when I was working as an IoT engineer. So that time we used to do like this. Okay, so if you have to grab the email ID of the person or the company name of the person, you are going to slice the string. So that's the real application, which was the mini project. Okay, so slicing string will happen with the following way. Okay, so word super excited. So I just wanted to take this example as super excited. So I took Akshay in that direct. Fine, not an issue. Okay, so what about substring? So substring will happen with this particular thing. Okay, So this will help us to do the things. Okay. So what do I what does it indicates? It indicates print. Okay. Directly I'm printing the B and give the square brackets, and in square brackets you need to type the number. So from where you want to want which part you want out, or which substring. Suppose I want, this is the whole string, and from this whole string I want this take amplifiers as a substring. Okay. So now what I need to do is I need to provide three parameters. Okay. So from where you want to start collecting the substring, and at which index it will end. Okay. So starting index of this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and at 7 it is starting, but actually, so you need to provide the index till 6, because it is from next onwards it is going to take the next thing. Okay. So 6 colon, see that is how it is written, start index colon end index. Where it is ending, I don't know how many letters are there, I'm just keeping 15 for just understanding. Okay. And the last thing over here is step. It means step, if you provide if you want to cut the string into parts. Okay. So I'll explain you. Right now I'm not going to put step, and I'm showing you by running this code. Yeah, we have take amp. Okay, at the rate is coming because it should start from 7. I was wrong over there. Okay, take and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It should, okay, 15. We came to 15. Okay, so here I go. I'm putting it 20. So the last index, you need to calculate the last index. Yeah, we got the take amplifier over here with this start index as 7 over here and end index as 20. Okay, so till this, so this is our string we could able to capture. Okay, so this is how you are going to capture the substring from the bigger string. Okay, now but what about this end, right? What about this step? Okay, so step, what it will do is, so right now what it is doing, since we haven't passed this in any step means it is going to it is like just steps. If you not going to provide any step, it will go one at a time, one index at a time, it will take everything. But if you provide value of step like 2, I'm going to give you here 2. So what it will do is it will print first letter, then it will skip the second one, and it will print third one. Okay, so let me just show you. Running the code, and here we go. Yeah, so it has printed T, then it has skipped this E, and it has printed C. Okay, then it has skipped this H because it's step, right? So if you provide 1, it is like nothing. Okay, so it will take everything at a time. But if you provide any other value over here, so it will skip, it will take the parameter by giving the one space. Okay, so second parameter, this is first, this is 0th, and this is second, this is 4th, like that. Okay, so it will take the character just like for loop. Yeah, you can skip the element. Yeah, just like so. It is what we are doing is we are actually applying the for loop over here. We are iterating. Okay, we are iterating through the string one at a time. Okay, so previously we were going with one at a time. So not exactly as a for loop, but it's kind of similar. We are iterating through that element. Okay, so this is how you can capture the substring from the bigger string. Okay, so but now let's, yeah, so we are done. Actually I was supposed to take this super excited word, and I wanted this super as out. So instead of that, what we did, we took this email IDs take amplifiers, and we took take amplifiers out by doing this 7:20. Okay, this is starting index. So let me just again count for you: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, and then end index will be the end index will be the next index, not this one. Okay, so if you go and count, this will be 21st, not 20th. Okay, sorry, yeah, something like this. Okay, so you need to provide the correct index in order to get the correct one. But now suppose right now we are proceeding with this, right, with this from left hand side to right hand side. So that's why we are giving the positive things. But suppose if I provide any negative value over there, -1, v of -1. So what it will do, let me just give you with v of 1 first. Okay, so it will, if you're not going to provide the last or the end value, it will only take a starting index, that is this, and actually it is 1, right? So it will take second one, 0th will be first. Okay, I'm running the code, and here we go. We got k because this is the first. Okay, this is 0th. The 0th element is a. 0th, the element which is present, or the letter which is present at 0th index is a. We provided 1. That's why we are getting k. But if I provide -1, so what it will do is Python is really smart, okay? It will start counting the string, or it will start tracing the string from the backend side, okay? This M later will get printed if I run this code, okay? I'm running it and see, the M has got printed. So if somebody asks you, oh, not O, one will, no, it will not work like that. -1 will start from the backend side. So in that backend, there is no negative, 0 will not be there in the backend side, because 0 we already used over here. See, let's try to understand the mathematics. Okay, once you use 0, 1, 2, 3, so negative side will start from -1 directly, not from 0, because 0 is this index. You can't give two zeros, okay? 0 -0 plus 0 nahi hota, okay? Don't get confused in that. See, 0 we already use, 0th index we use over here. So when we are going to provide -1, when you want to traverse the string from this, we will use -1, not 0. Okay, don't get confused with this. Yes, like yeah, like Q. Yes, absolutely right, Shraddha. Okay, perfect. If there is space in the last, what will print? It will print empty space. Sorry. Yeah, I'm giving the space, and here we go, because we haven't trimmed the string, right? See, it has printed a space actually, or you will not be able to see because it's space. See, it is giving me the it is allowing the cursor to move. It means there is a space. Okay, I can select that space as well. Okay, there is a space. Okay, so the space will get printed. So in order to avoid space, we need to use strip function. Okay, the trailing space it will remove, and then it will print. Okay, fine. So with this, what I want is, so we did -1, we -2 will print the second last letter. If you want to print O, use -1. But how you can do reverse string in Python? So with this actually, if you want to go and do the reverse string in other programming languages, reverse string, okay? So I just told you how you can traverse the string from the backend, right? So if you want to print this, you can use -1. If you want to print this, you can use -2. If you want to print C, you can use -3. But if you want to print whole string from the reverse, from the backend side, what you will do is, you're going to use this way of putting the things in a place. Okay, the way I told you to slice. Okay, so try to understand this highlighted word in the center. Okay, you need to provide start index, end index, and then step. Okay, from how you want to step, how you want to, from where you want to start taking action. Okay, so if you want to print the string in a reverse way, anybody knows how to do that? While this is you are almost there, but you missed something. Yes, anybody else knows how to do reverse string in Python? Yes, anybody? Yeah, colon -1. Yes, because what we are going to do is, we are going to tell this particular string operation that we don't want to start with anything. Start will be nothing, end will be nothing, but stepping should start from -1. Okay, start taking the string, start traversing this thing from the last end side, and then go, so since it's negative, it will go in the reverse way directly. Okay, so if I run this program, it will show, see, M, then this O, then C, then dot, then S, R, and it is printing the whole string in a reverse way. See, it is very easy. You just need to use this expression that your string in square brackets, 2 colons and -1, it will print your string in a reverse way. Instead, if you do the same operation in Python or Java or C++, you need to write a very big code. In the same way, how many of you know that the most favorite question of interviewer? So that is swap 2 numbers. How many of you know that most of the interviews will ask you this question, swap 2 numbers? Yes, have you heard from your seniors that interview has asked this type of question, swapping of 2 numbers? Or there is one more, in Java and all, yeah. So swapping the numbers without using third variable, that is the most famous actually, not swapping without third variable. That is what people ask in the industry. Okay, if you start doing with Java and all, you need to assign it to see. Suppose x is something, x is equal to 10, okay, and y is equal to 20. If you want to swap, is equal to sign full gap. Okay, is equal to 20. If you want to swap, you need to assign it to another variable like temp variable, and you need to assign value, and that will be complicated. If you don't want to use third variable, you need to use pointer, right? But in Python, it is very simple. Okay, so what you need to do is x comma y equals to y comma x. As simple as that. That's why I love Python really very much. Okay, I'm just going to show you by printing both the variables. Okay, so it will be x over here, and then here it will be y. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to print this thing first. Sorry, copy over here before swapping and after swapping. Okay, so just observe multi-variable assignment single line. Yes, Anurag. Yeah, in Java we have to, yeah, so that is very complicated. Yeah, so that's why I since we came to the comparison of Java with this reverse thing, I'm just showing you one more advanced thing which you need to know, how to swap numbers without using third variable. Okay, so this is the way you should swap number. Okay, value of x is 10 and value of y is 20. Okay, I'm just running the code and here we go. Okay, see carefully, look carefully. See the x value here we printed, it is 10, y value we printed over here is 20. That is absolutely right, we assigned it. But when I'm swapping the numbers, like x is equal to y, means y's value will be in x and x value will be in y. Okay, and after that when I'm printing, we are getting the same value which we are expecting, that it actually swapped the values of x and y. Fine, clear? No, if we execute print xy, what will come? Print comma xy, it will no, it will not be an error, so you can print x comma y as well. It will refer to the two different operations. Yeah, so it will give a space over there and it will print like that. Okay, so that is not an issue. So I just want, since it's a very beginning stage, I'm showing you by doing the two print statements. So this thing we'll be using going forward for our tic-tac-toe game and all, which I planned for you. Okay, so at that time we are going to use such higher kind of thing. Okay, so clear, right? So, and we already saw this project actually, how you can take email slicer, how you can take that take amplifiers. You just need to provide the path, username and company name. So Akshay Shinde will be username, tech amplifiers will be your company name. So you just need to provide the right index of finding this thing and you will be able to get it. Okay, so this project is for you. You're going to ask user, how can we print inverted commas? Inverted commas, just give a trailing slash. Okay, Vaishnavi, so there is question into the chat that how you can print the inverted commas. Suppose I will do it actually after some time. So let me just give you a task for today. Your task is to get this print statement, sorry, to find the username and company name from the email ID. You are going to ask user to enter email ID, and from that you are going to get it out. Okay, so we are already out of the time, and I have a couple of more things, that is database. So sorry, data types, which I wanted to show you for now, and just try to take a screenshot first, and then I'm going to explain you in a bit. Okay, so this is the last point from today. So we'll cover that. So what was the next thing? I forgot. So I forgot again. The plus operators. Yeah. So that we will cover tomorrow. Operators. By using single quote, we can use double quotes and vice versa. Yeah. So you yeah. But when you want to use single quotes and double quotes both, in that case you can use escape character. Okay. So there is a video on my YouTube channel actually. You can go over there and you can find that video where how to use double commas, how to print, or how to use string with single commas and double commas, inverted commas, like that. So there is a video, you just go and look for that. Okay, fine. So here are some data types, advanced data types are there in Python, which is list, tuple, set, and dictionary. Okay, now listen carefully. Just in 1 minute we are going to finish this, and then we'll have our most favorite Kahoot. Okay. So list is just like an array. So those who are from programming background, they know that arrays are declared with square brackets. Okay, square bracket, it is just like array, but it will be ordered. Okay, so it will be ordered, apple, banana, cherry. Okay, so it's an order. Okay, so it will be in order. Whenever you're going to print, it will be it will get printed in order. Wherever you, however you go, it whenever you're going to print it, it will print in order. Okay, now heterogeneous collection, that is for this, that is for array, not for this. Okay, list can have as well different heterogeneous collection, but it will be order and it will be changeable. Means if you want to add any element into list, you can change it. That's why I gave a mutable, because we learned the concept of immutability and mutability in last session. Okay, so you can change this list, but similarly we have another data type which is tuple. But tuple, see the difference. It is tuple we are writing with square round brackets. Okay, and it will have same things. It will data will be printed in the ordered form. When whatever you store, it will get arranged order in one ascending order actually. Okay, but once you assign some data, once you add something into this tuple, you can change it later on. Tuple is like your constant variable. Okay, So in constant is not there, some constant and concepts are not there here, but in C, C++ you might have learned that, or in Java you can create a constant. Once you create constant, you can change it later on. So that's how in Python you want to create constant, you have to use tuple. Okay, so tuple you can change, and we have set. See, the set is again, it will be unordered actually. So right now we provide it in order. So the way, suppose I put apple first, I put cherry second, and I can put banana at the end. So it will be unordered. There is no order as such. Okay, but the elements will be unique. Okay, you can't duplicate element over there. Okay, so here I provide apple over here. After cherry, I kept comma. I gave comma and I add apple. It will work. But in set, it will not work. Okay, so set is having unique values. You can't duplicate any value. Even if you try to add, it will not allow you to add, or it will not get that value into it. Okay, but it is unordered. You can put elements in any order. That is okay. But that is not okay with list and tuple. Okay, so even if you add element in any order, whenever you are going to use list or tuple, it will give you elements in order actually. Okay, and data is not changeable. When you are going to use set, you can't change the data. Do I need to classify data? No, not at all. No need it. So this is again, so I'm going to give you one example. Okay, we'll go with only one example, that is list. Okay, because dictionary we are going to cover in our next few sessions. Okay, and the dictionary again is unordered list, so you can't you can give any order over there, so that is not an issue, but it is changeable. Okay, it is not like set is like, once you give me the data, we are done. I'm not going to change myself. Okay, or the changeability is like mutability. Okay, so value can add, you can add multiple elements into list, but the ID, it will create a new list altogether. It will not keep the same set as it was earlier. Okay, so let's just go and see the example of this list, because we already actually our string was one of the example of list, and our string will actually work as a list. Okay, so I'm going to give you the one example with list. Okay, so here we go. I'm creating a new file for this, and new Python file list. Okay, here we go. A is equal to, what was syntax? Square bracket. Okay, square bracket, and I can give any number. Suppose I'm giving 10, and I'm giving a string called as Akshay. And see, inside a list you can create another list. See, this is one list, another list. Okay, and here we have float 12.20. We have string float, and what else can do? You can use false. False, f will be capital. Yeah, so this is another list which we added inside list. Now if I print this thing, print, okay, print A, it will show. Here I go, I'm running the list. It will show in order, that the way we provided in order. Okay, so it will not change order once you assign it. Okay, so but that is not the case with dictionary and the set. Okay, it will come in any order wherever you want. Okay, now here I go, I'm putting here name as tech, just for the example, and I'm printing, I'm running the list. See, so where at which position you are going to provide the value, it will be there on that position. You can't change the order. Okay, so tech will not, since it's string. Okay, so this is tech, since it's string, it will not come beside the string. It will print wherever it is, wherever you are going to put it in the sequence while declaring the list. It will be there at the end of the program. Okay, so that is about the data types. Is it clear? So you just go and try with tuple. So nothing fancy there. You just need to change the brackets. Okay, so other than that, it is almost similar. So there are a couple of differences which we'll cover wherever you are going to cover actually start working on the programs. Okay, can we make array as a character type specific like int? No, no. So there is nothing specific like that. You can't predefine anything, because it's dynamic type. Now here A is equal to, let me just give you. Okay, A is equal to a list. Okay, now here what I'm going to use is A is equal to another string. Okay, suppose it's, who was asking this question, let me just grab his name, Shubham. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just directly going to change it. Okay, so now here if I print, I'll be able to get the value of A as a Shubham. Okay, so there is no such a fancy thing that you, once you set, it will be like that. Okay, you can typecast the entire array elements in that case. Yes, if you want to convert into a string, or if you want to put everything like I want only string values. Okay, only string. That is what you asking, right? So I want only string values in array. So in that case, no, actually you will not be able to do like this. You can't put any restriction over there. Okay, by so you just need to, while putting into the string, while pushing the elements, you can take the precautions while pushing it into it. Okay, so there is no such thing like you can put some restrictions on the data type. There is no such a concept as a data type actually, as from the perspective of integer, float, and like that. So these are certain different advanced data types which are over here. Actually, see, data types is like you should put list like this, list A, right? So, but it is not like that. We are calling it as a we are putting the terminology data types because it is actually a data type and you need to know it. Okay, so like integer, float, we use boolean over here. So this is a data type that we know already. So if you are going to use list, put square brackets and it will be a list. Okay, so that's just for the signal. Clear? Any doubts still here? Yes, understood everybody? Perfect, all clear, right? So what I want is, I want all of you to practice the methods, string methods. Second thing, complete the project of finding the email ID and the username of a person, and then try to print list, tuple and set with this example right now, whatever you are seeing on the screen. And while going forward, we'll use tuple, we'll use dictionary. We'll actually use dictionary for most of the things from of next project. Okay. So with this, we are done over here. What you need to do is, you are going to complete it thing, and again, so if you think you have learned something really new today, go and share with the world. Tell them that this is something which I didn't know. Like I don't know how to do how to reverse string in Python. Okay, so this is something really new. I didn't knew how you can swap the variables without using third variable. Okay, so that was something new, right? And I didn't knew that these are the advanced data types that are there in Python that you didn't knew before. Okay, so showcasing that reverse string and swapping the numbers with Python was so easy. It will give a good it will give you good reputation in the LinkedIn platform. They will see something, something really new. Okay, and go and try something else with email slicer project and push it as well. It will again will add some value into your project. Okay, clear?